Eye up the best talent. Hear the best music. The Stars in Their Eyes live final is tonight at 8:15 on Meridian.
We test drive the latest executive cars from Lexus, BMW and Mercedes in the roadshow. That's later at 2:30.
Good afternoon. Police have arrested a man over the road rage murder of Steve Cameron. He's being held at Worthing Police Station in Sussex after he was questioned late last night. Steve Cameron was stabbed to death last Sunday after an argument with the driver of a Land Rover Discovery. The arrest comes after an emotional appeal from his fiancée, Danielle Cable. Here's our reporter, Adrian Britton.
Nearly a week since Steve Cameron's murder, and still people lay flowers at the M25 motorway junction where he was stabbed. Police say the man detained in connection with the murder was arrested at midnight last night. He's being held at Worthing Police Station in Sussex. Steve Cameron, who was 21, was a victim of road rage, stabbed to death by the driver of a Land Rover Discovery. Watching helplessly was Steve's fiancée, Danielle Cable. She described how he lay dying in her arms as her screams for help were ignored by passing motorists. Her television appeals to help track down the killer have provoked such a huge public response that telephone lines to the incident room have been blocked. Extra detectives have been drafted in over the holiday weekend to find the driver of the L-Reg Discovery, and all police leave has been cancelled. 4 detectives have travelled from the incident room here in Dartford to interview the man in Worthing. Police are stressing that this is just one of a number of lines of inquiry. But they've also indicated that the questioning of the man could last all day. Adrian Britton, ITN, Dartford.
Another British child has caught meningitis on Mallorca, just days after a teenager on holiday there died of the disease. Michaela Leyland, who's 5, is said to be in a critical condition at the San Duereta Hospital in the capital Palma. On Monday, 13-year-old Chris Richards from West Sussex died of meningitis. 19 suspected football hooligans arrested after a series of dawn raids yesterday have appeared in court in Newcastle. The raids follow an investigation into violence on the night Newcastle lost the Premiership title race. And a British man accused of sexually molesting 2 Filipino boys appeared in court in Manila this morning. Stephen Mitchell was there to listen to evidence from one of the children he's alleged to have abused. He denies the charges. Here, civil liberties groups say government proposals to allow employers to check the criminal records of future workers are deeply unfair. The scheme will give bosses the right to ask prospective employees to produce a certificate saying whether they have a criminal past. But Labour says the plans don't go far enough. Hugh Pym reports.
Under the proposals, anyone looking for a job can expect to be asked by employers to produce a criminal conviction certificate. This would show whether there were any convictions logged on the police national computer. Some employers are also to be given direct access to criminal records to carry out their own checks. Health authorities, for example, on nurses applying for jobs. But civil rights campaigners have attacked the plans.
Lots of young men will find it very difficult to get a job after a drunken disorderly charge or a minor misdemeanour, and that should be forgotten in time. It shouldn't be held over them for the rest of their lives.
The private security industry is one example, say Labour, of the need for tighter checks on employers rather than workers. They want the government to extend the planned measures.
We will give the government broad support for these proposals, but we also believe that there has to be statutory regulation of the private security industry alongside this.
Conservative MPs have welcomed the proposals.
This is a step forward to protect the vulnerable in our society, and I think it will be welcomed by everyone as a broad, positive step to improve the quality of life of people in Britain.
The Home Secretary, Michael Howard, is expected to spell out his plans in a white paper to be published shortly. Hugh Pym, ITN, Westminster.
Cricket and the weather has once again played havoc with England's second one-day international against India at Headingley. Rain delayed the start, but when the game eventually got underway, England made a positive start. India's Sachin Tendulkar run out, Mark Elam with the direct hit. Latest score, India are 38 for 2. And England football star Paul Gascoigne looks certain to miss tomorrow's final warm-up game before the Euro 96 squad is finalised. A foot injury left the midfielder struggling during training sessions for tomorrow's game against Golden in Hong Kong. The England manager Terry Venables announces his final squad on Wednesday. That's it. I'm back with the latest news and sport at 10 to 5. Bye for now.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, today's not perfect, but it's a dramatic improvement on what we've had for many people. Sunshine and showers today, and that could be the best we get this holiday weekend. The rest of the afternoon then, there have already been some showers around in the north and west. A few more will develop in central and eastern areas this afternoon, but they're light and fairly well scattered. And there will be some sunny spells, but there's a lot of high cloud around, so the sunshine rather hazy, but bright and dry for many of us. Temperatures today, in the best of the sunny spells, perhaps just scraping up to 18 in the east, and that's 64. 15 or 16, a more typical maximum for many of us this afternoon. And then tonight, dry and clear for most of the night, but there's more rain coming into the southwest for tomorrow. Here's a summary.
Sponsored by PowerGen, producing electricity, whatever the weather.
Good afternoon. More than 30 families had to move out this morning when a burst water main flooded their homes. The incident happened on the Great Hollands estate at Bracknell in Berkshire. Some properties were flooded to a depth of up to 2 feet. Residents have spent the morning clearing up, but it's likely that some families will have to be temporarily rehoused. Damage is estimated at many thousands of pounds. A Hampshire police sergeant who confronted a gunman and persuaded him not to shoot has been given a top Police Federation Bravery Award. Sergeant Nigel Hart was confronted by a car driver brandishing a loaded rifle. He'd stolen guns and ammunition from Army barracks on Salisbury Plain. Sergeant Hart eventually arrested the man. Ollie Lewis reports.
Sergeant Nigel Hart was on routine traffic patrol on the M3 when he came face to face with a gunman. A car pulled up on the hard shoulder just south of Junction 6 near Basingstoke, and he went to investigate.
As I got closer to the car, I suddenly saw this figure roll out, and out popped this man in a combat jacket carrying the rifle, holding it right in front of me. At first, I didn't know what to think. I thought it might have been a training exercise, but then I realised it was for real.
The gunman had taken firearms and live ammunition from Tidworth on Salisbury Plain, where he was a serving soldier. Sergeant Hart kept him talking until he laid down the guns.
One must remember that he in fact saved the life of the offender, because undoubtedly if Nigel hadn't acted like he did, a gun battle would have ensued. And so all round he protected himself, his colleagues and the offender.
I think really when something happens like that, you have to take control. You take a deep breath and think, well, here I go, I'm going for the best double glazed salesman talk that I can do. And you just try and stay calm and think of all the things that race through your mind. There's so many that you put them to your back of your mind and concentrate on the thing in question, which was keeping him talking and waiting for help to arrive.
The gunman was later convicted of firearms offences and committed for psychiatric treatment.
Ollie Lewis reporting. Controversial moves to stamp out the sales of cigarettes to underage children are being planned in Hampshire. Youngsters are to be recruited by trading standards officers in a bid to catch out shopkeepers selling cigarettes to children under 16. It follows a similar campaign last year which resulted in a series of prosecutions. The new Dean of Winchester is enthroned today in an historic ceremony at the city's cathedral. The Venerable Michael Till says the promotion came unexpectedly, but he says he's ready for the challenges of his new diocese. Martin Dowes reports.
Turning a deanery that's housed 6 centuries of clerical history into a home isn't easy. For the Venerable Michael Till, it's done by hanging a few paintings donated by his artist son. Moving into the 16-bedroom deanery in the shadow of the cathedral is the first step in his new life as Dean of Winchester. He says he's ready for the challenges in charge of a cathedral that attracts as many tourists as worshippers.
Why they come is their affair. What they find when they come is very much our affair, and what we want them to find. And that's a question that requires us to think through very carefully. And very wisely and deeply, how Christian faith is made accessible to people today.
With faithful dog Gus, named after St. Augustine, at his side, the new dean's already made an impression. He came to Winchester on foot, making a pilgrimage all the way from his former diocese in Canterbury. The next step in his new life comes with the grand enthronement ceremony. It's something he sees as a communal occasion rather than a moment of individual glory. Martin Dowse in Winchester for Meridian News.
Sport and a major weekend event is getting underway in Basingstoke. The 1996 Festival of Sport involves hundreds of athletes from Basingstoke and its twin towns in France and Germany. To mark the occasion, many of the town's shops are adopting a special continental theme. That's it from the newsroom at Meridian for now. We'll be back just after 5 o'clock.
Meridian weather with Stena Line ferries. New horizons every day.
The forecast for this afternoon and tonight. Mostly dry today with a fair amount of cloud and the possibility of some light drizzle. Maximum temperature at 15 degrees Celsius. Tonight dry with mist patches and the temperature at 6 degrees Celsius.
Call the Meridian weather line, sponsored by Stena Line ferries.
Getting too close for comfort.
This isn't a wind-up, is it, Catherine? Get these people banged up before they kill someone.
Who said I shot him?
Don't you lie to me again!
I don't want you to think I'm playing games with you.
Get away from me.
I can't. He's expecting me.
Get out of here or you'll ruin everything.
The Knock, Sunday at 9:10 on Meridian.
On Wednesday,
I think I've misfiled something.
the eccentric Inspector Frost returns.
I think we've got ourselves lumbered with a DCI who likes to keep his hand in. Right, Susan, put away the electrodes. We've got a social worker on the premises.
David Jason and a Touch of Frost, Wednesday at 8.
Our programmes continue for Saturday afternoon in just a few moments with a double bill of cartoons.